since I was the first person in like the whole family, including cousins and stuff, to have a PC, like they would come over and they'd be like, whoa, this is awesome. Oh my God, I didn't even know you could do this. This is great. Like they're talking. They're actually talking.
Yeah. Today, we're going to talk about King's Quest VI, which is generally considered to be the best title in the series. It was also the very first game our guest played on the PC platform.
Cosima, wait! I ask you to release your captive or suffer the consequences.
Checkmate! Only chess pieces allowed in chessboard land.
So, welcome to PCGN, Diana Laura, account manager at Massive Entertainment.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hello.
May I call you Diana?
Of course, please do.
Thank you. So, you are an account manager at a large gaming studio in Sweden. What does an account manager do?
Well, we are kind of the go-betweens between a lot of different teams. We are the bridge, as they say, between a lot of between the studio and partners. It could be a product or a platform like Ubisoft Connect, which is a new platform that we just launched, and all the games that are on that platform.
I always asked, and nobody answers, sadly. But what are the current project you're working on, if you can tell about any, or can you tell about any previous gaming projects you've been working on at Massive?
Well, I initially, when I moved to Malmo from San Francisco, I'm originally from New York, specifically the Bronx, and initially when I moved here, I was working on The Division, and now that I am an account manager, I get to work with pretty much all the games, including the newly announced Star Wars game that Massive is going to be working on.
Right.
Or not, is working on.
We're here to talk about King's Quest VI from Sierra Online.
Yes.
I would like you, Diana Laura, our guest, how would you describe King's Quest VI to someone that has never heard about it or played it?
Oh my gosh.
Could you do that?
King's Quest VI is the sixth iteration of the King's Quest series by Roberta Williams. It used to be part of Sierra, and the Sierra Adventure Games, and it's a point-and-click adventure that follows this particular family, and in this iteration, you follow Alexander, the son, which was a huge break from the other five games. And it's a point-and-click adventure with stories. It's story-driven with puzzles and really great music and just an all-around great story as well.
Right, that was an excellent summary, I think. King's Quest VI, aired today, gone tomorrow, is a point-and-click adventure game by Sierra Online from 1992. It's generally considered the best title in the series and is mentioned as one of the greatest adventure games of all time. Today, King's Quest VI is remembered for its professional voice acting.
The rose wins.
Oh, I shouldn't, sir, but it is so lovely. I've never seen a rose of white. It looks so pale and delicate. Wherever did you find one of such a color?
There are many hedges of them on the Isle of the Beast, and they grow together like magic.
Let's start because you mentioned Roberta Williams. This is interesting because back in the 80s, 90s, most people didn't care about who made the games. There were very few people who were famous for making games.
Right.
And I guess there were very few women also, but Roberta Williams and her husband Ken Williams founded Sierra Online that you told us about around, I don't know, end of 70s or something. So did you know about Roberta when you played it, or is that something you have learned afterwards?
Well, what's funny is that I have a faint memory of seeing her picture in a magazine of like for the King's Quest series.
Right.
And I didn't know it was for the King's Quest series. I just saw that it was a video game magazine and this woman was there and that she wrote it and she, was an integral part of it. It didn't really click until later on that, that this was her series and she was, she was the one behind it with her husband as well.
Right.
So yeah, and that always stuck with me. I was just like, that's pretty awesome that, this woman wrote like, what was a part of one of my favorite series growing up.
Right. And King's Quest, I believe, like you said, this is the 6th episode. It's released around 1992, I think.
Yeah, 92. And then there was like the CD-ROM version, which is the one that I had.
Right, with more speech and more music and stuff. Right.
That's the one I definitely played.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
So who were you? I mean, this is back in 92 or 93, the CD version. Who were you back then? I mean, how old were you and what were you doing? What was your situation when you were playing this game the first time?
The game is like, for me, in my memories, it's an utter masterpiece, and it has a lot of fond memories because it was the first time that so I grew up with Atari. I played Atari games, Nintendo.
Oh, the console, the gaming console, not the computer.
Consoles, yes. So this was the first. I didn't know games could be played on PC.
Okay.
Because so like PCs in my family, because we grew up, we didn't have much money.
Right.
PCs for me were things that were in office buildings that like nobody could have.
Right.
And so funny enough, it's like my mom scraped money together to get us this this PC. Funny enough, called actually the PS1.
Yeah, that's an IBM.
The IBM PS1, exactly. And so yeah, and it came with games. And I was like, what? This is crazy. And so, we booted this game up and we were like, wow, this is kind of awesome. And it was like one of the first times where like the whole family was playing the game.
Oh, really?
Like my brother and my sister were too young to understand, but still like it was cartoons and we would play it. And it was a family sort of event where we would sit down and we would play King's Quest 6. And since I was the first person in like the whole family, including cousins and stuff, to have a PC, like they would come over and they'd be like, "Whoa, this is awesome! Oh my God, I didn't even know you could do this. This is great!" Like they're talking, they're actually talking.
Yeah.
So it was. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things that's ingrained in the back of my head is the phrase, Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Right.
And
he does that. They say that every time.
He does that a lot.
Yeah.
Now, what is this about a magic map?
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
He finds a
lot.
magic map in a pawn shop or something. He trades it for his ring.
in the pawn shop.
He has
Yes.
this beautiful golden ring with his family insignia, I think.
The family crest. Yeah, exactly.
And he trades that because he really needs that map, because he really
Yes.
needs to see the princess.
Exactly.
This sounds like a really cheesy love story. What was so great about it?
It really is.
I cannot live without the sight of you.
Oh, Alexander.
Well, I mean, honestly, it wasn't really the love story. I think that was the side part of it. That was like the ultimate goal, but it was sort of not really the point. It was really about, Alexander, he's a prince and he's a brat and he's just like, but he's also like genuine and very nice and he's still learning. And so it was just his adventure going to all of these different islands, where you would like at one point he goes down to the underworld and to teach death or to teach the king or something a lesson. And so it was just like it was just his growth of becoming a man, and finding out that like he's not the center of the world, that the world is bigger, and a much more magical and dangerous place because you die a lot.
I know you do that in Sierra games. That's the point.
Lots.
The point of
Yeah.
playing is dying.
And what was also so fantastic about this game was that it was one of the first times in my life that the first times that I've ever had to actually sign online, like actually sign on to the CompuServe servers / forums to get the answer to some of these puzzles.
How did that work? We didn't have CompuServe in Europe.
No?
How did that work?
It was a very, the basic forum with the how I remember that the logo was zeros and ones, 0, 1s and dashes, and it was just like
Yep.
like the Sierra logo, and then it was just like what section are you in? You hit 1, boop, and then like it was literally like that. It was like the queue. Hit the 1, hit the 2 or the 3 or the 4, whatever number, and it takes you to the particular section that you're looking for.
So it was a hint line.
Also,
You
was that?
went there to get hints. It was a hint line.
to get
Okay.
to get the hint line, but it was so expensive. It was so expensive. It was like $4 or $5 a minute or something like that. What are we gonna do? We don't know. And to find out on the server that we needed the manual, so the book came with the instructions and stuff, but then there was this other book that was like a history of the land of the Green Isles, and we were like, boring, because we were kids.
Oh, you didn't read that.
And we didn't read that.
Oh.
And then found out that was the most important thing that we needed in order to proceed through the game. That is, yeah.
So, listen, has King's Quest VI in any way affected your career, your choice of career, you think?
I think it influenced it in that, like, I knew that the power of storytelling, and if you tell a really, really good story, then I think the player forgives things, and so that kind of followed me, because for others, I feel like if a game like that is released now, the puzzles can be super tedious, and you had to you have to, switch back and forth from different, to the different islands, and it can be redundant, and and that play style, that design isn't really done very much, because you don't want to bore the player.
It seems like the whole King's Quest series is a lot about the writing. And to be fair, I think I remember right now, Roberta Williams was not the only writer of this game. There's also a woman called Jane Jensen, I think, that we should give credit for this awesome story.
Definitely.
I think I read up on her. I think she eventually, she was hired by Sierra, and this was perhaps her first thing, but she ended up creating the Gabriel Knights series. Have you played that?
Yes.
Those also?
Yes, I did. I actually did play the Gabriel Knights.
That's Jane
series.
Jensen, I think, who wrote those. So and I think she wrote most of the dialogue in King's Quest VI. There are so many lines, and they recorded them all for the CD version.
They did.
It's ridiculous how it's
They
like a
did.
movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a theme song, which is
there is?
Yeah, there is. There definitely is.
Can you sing
It's
it?
called Girl. Yeah, it's called Girl in the Tower. It's just like the chorus.
toward the end, right?
It's right at the end. I get the credits. It's like, girl in the tower.
Oh my
I'm
God.
reaching out.
That's amazing.
Please tell me what to do.
Can we play this? Can we play this?
It's corny as hell, but it's like, you're just like, wow, I just finished a game.
if you could be, maybe for just a day or for a minute or so, a character in King's Quest VI, who would you want to be out of all the characters that you have?
Oh man, I would want to be Alexander.
Yeah?
It's
Really?
like, of course. I feel who wouldn't want to, jump to the different islands and visit all those exotic landscapes and meet all those great characters.
But every
I feel
time
like
you
that
do
would
something, there's a voice saying, Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander goes to the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying, isn't it?
I guess after a while, but I love one of the great things about those point and click adventures is that, the characters could break that fourth wall and just be like, hey, can you just stop for a second, please?
Yeah.
Or, you could actually like the narrator just to be like, hey, just for this 1 minute, can you just not say anything? Great.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I feel like I would break that fourth wall a lot and talk to the narrator and be like, hey,
What do you think about the stick in the mud? You remember him? The angry...
being a stick in the mud. Yes.
I'd like to be him. He can always yell, always be angry, and everybody just
That's
expects it
right.
from him. I think that's a great character. Wasn't that his name, Stick in the Mud?
It was definitely Stick in the Mud. He was a very, oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
And he had a brother called Bump in the Log? No, something like that.
Bump in the log.
Yeah,
It was
something like
the Stick in the Mud and Bump in the Log. Yeah, uh-huh. The dangling participle is also cute because he's just like, go with you? Go with you where?
Swamp ooze! That's swamp sludge!
He's right, But he could be a little nicer about telling you. He's not a very pleasant stick in the mud.
Do you have, speaking about King's Quest and everything and doing what you do you have a dream project? Do you have something that you always, I would have loved to do this, related to gaming?
I think working on a Marvel game, with my shirt, working on a Marvel game or working on a Star Wars game. Really, I think those are the two wishes.
Diana Laura, account manager at Massive Entertainment. I thank you so much for your time, so much for the laughter and the looks back at King's Quest VI.
Yes. Oh, what a blast. Thank you, Jimmy. This has been great.
I wish you the best of luck in all the projects and all the busy days and weeks and months you have at Massive Entertainment. And I hope you can do your dream projects soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Diana Laura puts down her magic map and leaves the PCGM studio.
Should you be my narrator? I feel like you should be the narrator of my life. Let's just be around there.
I'm sorry. All right. See you later, Diana. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Would you ever consider... Do you think you could... marry me?
Could you ever have doubted it, my prince?
Did you enjoy this episode? Then please do not forget to subscribe for more PC Games nostalgia.